What's up, familia? I'm coming at you today with a very special episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 5 business strategies that you need to be deploying right now in a time of crisis. We all know there's tons of uncertainty. The world has experienced some insane shifts over the past couple of weeks. And really, here in the US, we've really felt, right, that intense change to our everyday lives, our lifestyle. We're seeing the stock market crashing. We're looking at what's going on in Italy. We're concerned about our futures. And in a time of instability, it's so important to understand, right, how to deal with these types of difficult situations. So as we go through this process, this is going to be a brand new workshop we have created for our Business Lounge community. This is for our paid members, and we're making it available to you here on the blog, through our YouTube channel, on the podcast. So I just want to let you know that this is going to be a workshop that you want to watch at least twice, more than once, right? I want you to prepare for it because we're going to be talking in part 1 about how to leverage, right, this opportunity, this change, this time when we're stretched for growth. We're going to be looking at detailed examples of companies in multiple industries, whether they're local companies servicing a local community, how they're positioning themselves as leaders in their respective space. They're leveraging the internet and a global economy to continue operating through this time of difficulty. So you're going to look at local companies. We're going to look at freelancers. We're going to look at online course creators. We're going to look at so many different examples that'll really help you regardless of where you're at right now, whether you're concerned about being laid off and maybe you don't have a brand and you're trying to figure out what a side hustle could be, or you're an established company that has had to cease operations, or maybe your supply chain is cut off and you're really struggling to figure out how to make this work. We're going to be covering so many strategies that are going to help you really create a crisis management plan. So this is the time to pull out pen and paper. Get ready, because we're going to dive right in. And before we do, I have one request for you. This is going to be a pitch-free workshop. I think I already said that, but if I didn't, it's totally free, right? There's not going to be an opt-in. There's literally zero incentive for us to create this outside of our membership. We just really want to help you. We want to help you shape, right, your mentality, change the way that you approach difficult times. And it's going to be power-packed with encouragement, because we can do this. There's so much hope. There's so many opportunities out there, and we're going to help you leverage them. So would you be amazing? And please share this workshop. Share it with your friends, with your colleagues, with other business owners. It doesn't matter if they're entrepreneurs or not. People need to hear this message. They need to know that things are going to be okay and that together we will rise. So it would be awesome if you shared this on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is that you kind of hang out and you have a community. That would be amazing. But we're going to jump right into everything that we're going to cover today with this amazing quote that really sets the tone for this workshop. This is from Roger Crawford. And if you don't know who Roger is, please look up this guy. He's amazing. He's a pro tennis player with some massive disabilities, and he's also a motivational speaker. He says, being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. And that really hit home with me this week as I was going through my own process of getting in the right mindset for dealing with change, right? Understanding how to deal with this process of being challenged and being stretched in ways that some of us didn't expect to be stretched in. And as we go through this entire workshop, I just really want you to realize that in times of desperation, in times of crisis, in times of difficulty, there is always growth, right? Constant growth. We really can't grow. We can't experience the best versions of ourselves if we're not challenged, if we're not experiencing some kind of obstacle and difficulty. Now, thankfully, most of us in this community are online business owners, and we've set ourselves up intentionally for growth regardless of the economy, right? We've leveraged a positioning that allows and enables us to reach a global community, a global economy. And therefore, we are probably experiencing a lot less change than most companies who operate, in the physical space, meaning service providers, freelancers, creators. That's not to say that as online business owners, we can't leverage this situation to, one, serve bigger, right? To be ultra generous, to take care of our audiences. Two, to really force ourselves to look at our strengths and our weaknesses. What are areas in our companies that really need to be repositioned? What are some of the things that we could be doing better? How could we be reaching people with our message? How could we be ready for these situations? And what would, potentially be a scenario where we couldn't operate our businesses through the internet? And so all those things should be things you should be asking yourself as you go through this process, as we go through this workshop, and we talk about what are the things that really matter. And so before we get into individual strategies like, okay, step one, do this, step two, do that, I think it's really important to touch on this particular topic. And that is, guys, we are responsible for every single thing that happens in the world. As humanity, we need to take accountability of how we respond to situations, right? A lot of times, we don't understand how our decisions impact the economy, how our decisions, make a difference in people's lives, in our own cities, in our own towns. And of course, there's a lot of panic and there's a lot of hysteria and there's a lot of concern, and a lot of it is totally justifiable. But we cannot choose to unpack and live in our fear, right? We have to choose perseverance over panic. We can't allow the fear to just really paralyze us, because we as entrepreneurs, we as small business owners, we are in charge of continuing to move the economy forward. And I think that we need to take this really seriously, right? There's so much panic and hysteria, and rightfully so. I understand people's lifestyles are changing. It's scary to feel like, there's uncertainty around, are you going to get sick? Will you be able to survive this? And I think that we need to take a step back and be rational, right? Think about, okay, yes, this is a serious crisis. It's a pandemic. It's spreading quickly. It's scary. We need to take conscious measures. We need to use common sense, and we need to be leaders in our respective communities. But we can't freak out, right? We can't unpack and live in panic. That is not a healthy, productive way of dealing with difficult situations, dealing with fear. And so this is a time where we really need to double down and work on our psyche. We need to work on our mental resilience. We need to exercise faith, right? I don't know if you're seeing what's happening in the world, but I take a look at my Facebook feed and I'm terrified. The things that people are posting and the things that people are sharing, and the way that the media is massively taking advantage of the situation and raking in the dough with those amazing ratings because everybody is consuming coronavirus stuff. It's really incredible to see. And so I think that as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, we need to be the voice of reason. We need to stay calm. We need to be empathetic around other people's fears, but we need to demonstrate what it is like to stand up and be a leader. We need to lead by example and say, guys, this is happening. We're going to deal with it. This is a difficult situation. We're going to take precautions, but we're also going to keep moving forward. We're not going to, just sit back and sip on some hot chocolate and watch Netflix. We're going to roll up our sleeves and get to work. We need to keep this economy going. We need to keep the economy moving. The more small businesses struggle, the longer we'll have to be in self-isolation, the more our economy is going to continue experiencing a hard hit. And so instead of just constantly being, in hyper alertness and thinking that this is the end of the US economy and that we're going to just nosedive into, a 10-year recession, let's use common sense, right? Let's look at the data. Let's really look at informed sources. Let's make sure that we're consuming information from the right resources, which we will link below. And let's just calm down. Let's take a step back and really look at, okay, what does this actually mean? And how can we prepare for it, whether it happens or not? And how can we continue moving forward? Because life has to go on. We cannot be stuck in this like intense paralysis of fear and immediately go to the worst possible scenario, thinking that, everyone we love is going to die and there's going to be a 10-year recession and the market is going to collapse and nothing's going to come back to normal, because that's not the case, right? Right now, we don't know what's going to happen day to day. We have heard from so many entities in the government and World Health Organization that we're looking at a 30-day period, right? We're looking at 30 days. We're not sure what's going to happen after that. And so I want you to take day by day precautions, right? Be smart, but don't start like trying to predict what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. And so we have to prepare for the unknown and hope for the best, right? We have to hope for the best and think, you know what? The summer is coming. Things are going to warm up. This freaking virus is going to go away at some point and we will survive. We will make things happen. We can't freak out and think that this is the end of the world. No, we're going to double down. We're going to do what it takes to make sure that we're positioned in a way that will enable us to leverage this as an opportunity for growth in whatever area that might be. And then we're going to live our life and we're going to literally do it one day at a time. We're going to do it together. So I think that's really important to think about as we're going through this process. And I just have one rule for you as you go through the workshop. I want you to think about how you can apply this to your individual brand, your individual business, and your particular lifestyle, right? If you are a local business, how is this going to apply to you? If you don't have a business at all and you're worried about, job security, how can you take this information and leverage it? And as we dive into, let's talk about strategy number 1, which is what we were just touching on. Guys, the first strategy to deploy in a crisis is getting your mind right. You need to get in the right headspace. You need to breathe in, breathe out. Having an intense and acute sense of reality is only going to be possible if you're in the right mindset. It doesn't matter how many strategies I teach you here to be able to leverage, the situation and look at different alternatives for creating income and being profitable during this season of crisis. It doesn't matter how many hacks or how many tips I throw your way. If you are not taking care of your mental health through this time, if you're not in the right headspace, if you don't have the right attitude, there's nothing I can do for you, my friend. That's the truth. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. If you are panicking and freaking out and you're staying up till 4 a.m. because you don't know what's going to happen, that is not a healthy place for you to be. It is definitely not going to be a place where you're going to be able to perform optimally. And when there's a crisis, you need all of your mind to be working, right, in the best possible way. You need to be level-headed. You need to make sure that things are not escalating in your mind, that you're not predicting things that will not happen, and that you're not making crazy decisions when you don't have all the facts. So what are we going to do in order to get our mind right? Number 1, we are going to double down on gratitude. We're going to double down on gratitude. We're going to take a step back and we're going to really think through some of the things that help us, right? For me, I really rely on my faith during these times, and I take time to pray every single day. I start my day by reading the word. It's part of my morning routine. It's part of my workday startup routine. And that really helps me connect with, who I am as a person. It connects me with higher power and it gives me so much hope for the future. I also love meditation. I absolutely love the Calm app. Highly recommend it. Doing 5-10 minutes of meditation 2-3 times a day during this time is really, really beneficial. Whenever you're feeling an overwhelming sense of just instability or fear, take some time out, do a little bit of meditation, right? Teach your body how to deal with stress. We're all making key decisions during this time period. There is stress for us at different levels. And so we really want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And that really, continues to be an overarching theme here. If we don't take care of ourselves, we are the number one asset in our companies. And so literally you need to protect the asset. You need to double down on the asset. And that's why this is such an important time for self-care. So I want you to bust out your self-care toolkit and start looking at ways you can take care of yourself more than usual in times of stress, in times of uncertainty, in times when we're stretched. We need to take care of ourselves, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. And so whatever that means for you, I want you to jot down right now, pull out your pen and paper and write down what are 3 things that you can do in each of these categories this week that'll help you stay as positive, as happy, and as healthy as possible so that you can operate at a higher level, so that you can reach goals that you've set regardless of this current climate, so that you can continue moving your brand and your company forward, and so that you can step up, right, to the plate, that you can really become the best version of yourself during this time, so that you can look back on it and say, wow, life threw at me everything it had and I survived. And I promise you, as you're going through this process, there's so many distractions right now. And I need you to double down and commit to taking care of yourself. So whether that means disconnecting, meditating, talking to a friend through this time to take care of your mental health, on, really doubling down your spirituality, reading the word, praying, listening to uplifting music, maybe chatting with someone who shares the same set of beliefs during this time. You guys can encourage and support each other. Amazing. And then, of course, moving your body, right? Moving your body. Please, there's like a billion at-home workouts out there. If you have one, let us know. We'd love to create a resource for our community. So if you're a fitness professional out there and you have a special COVID-19 workout for folks, let us know, reach out, and we'll happily link it in the resources below. But it's so important to move your body. You need to experience relaxation. You need to really just keep your immune system up. And that means movement. You can't just sit down or lay down all day long. That's not healthy. And I want to make sure, again, we're doubling down on our self-care toolkit. Now, over on our free mastermind group on Facebook, I shared earlier this week some of the things that I've been doing to keep my health in check, just really practice some self-care during this time, because on top of everything that's been going on in the world, we're making really difficult decisions. We're in the process of hiring, we're deploying huge projects, and we're also making, a lot of stressful decisions as we're going through this process. Plus, on top of it, I was sick, not corona, but we're still sick. And so there's a lot going on. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys was how I was taking care of myself. And really, Chris and I have made it a point to disconnect from all the hysteria. We literally have gone to extents of Chris has deleted his apps. My team is doing the same thing. They're just removing themselves from Facebook. They're removing themselves from Twitter. And then we're just consuming information on our terms, right? We're deciding, okay, these are the 2 times we're going to tune into news. If something really terrible happens, we'll hear from it from our parents or, from our friends. It's not going to be a situation where we're not going to have the latest information. We don't need to be glued, watching coronavirus stuff and just being completely consumed with all the fear and all of the terrible negativity that is going on in the world. Otherwise, there's like this looming cloud over you the whole time, and you can't focus on growth. You can't focus on reaching your goals. You can't focus on being productive, on servicing your clients, on being there for your team. So distance is so important during these times. Disconnect from the media. You're a creator, you're not a consumer. And so really this time, I need you to double down on your creation. We'll talk more about that in the second part of the workshop, but the first step in that is disconnecting from things that are not serving you. So make sure to consume information on your own terms and not the other way around. And so I asked you guys to also share what are some of the things that you're doing through this process. As you're going through this crisis, how are you taking care of yourself? And Carolyn said, I aim for 8 to 9 hours of sleep. I'm eating more veggies and fruits. I'm drinking more water, practicing yoga daily, a minimum of 30 minutes. I'm walking the dog, and I'm spending quality time with my kid and a lot of laughter. So kudos to you, Carolyn. That's amazing. I love that you're sharing all this awesome stuff with us. Then Gregory says, I'm adding a multivitamin to my breakfast routine and dialing down my caffeine intake. I'm also being ruthless about regular light exercise. Otherwise, no real change in my normal routine, which is awesome. I don't know about you guys, but it's funny. I've been seeing all these memes about, the moment you realize that your lifestyle is quarantine. And it's so funny because as online creators, like, we're just home all the time. Majority of us are. So there isn't a huge disruption in our day to day when people are like, oh my God, I can't do this or can't do that, can't go to work. Like, we operate from home, so can totally relate. And then last one, Jeanette says, practicing Kundalini, totally butchered that, guys, sorry. That type of yoga, mainly breathing work and meditation. Breathing work is great for the immune system. Also keeping up with my daily routine, waking up early, exercising, eating as clean as possible, going to bed early, and finding joy in my daily activities. I love this, guys. So many awesome, recommendations from members in our mastermind Facebook group. So that's one of the resources that I would leverage right now. There's over 10,000 entrepreneurs in that group, and we're just supporting and encouraging each other in there. So I'm going to leave a link below this episode so you can check it out and join us. And you can read through all the awesome recommendations everyone's had. I think it's important to be inspired and take care of ourselves. So self-care toolkit, super important. So let's dive into strategy number 2, shifting gears here as we talk about making a plan, right? We're going to talk about a crisis plan, what you should be taking care of, what you need to not engage in right now, what are the decisions you should not be taking. And this is a really simple process, but it's so powerful and important. And I really want to begin it by doubling down and committing on perseverance over panic, right? Choosing to persevere, being resilient, understanding that you have everything it takes to succeed in any economy, in any situation. Right? The world is your oyster, my friend, and you have the skills, or you can acquire the skills to figure it out. You got to believe in yourself. You got to build up your self-confidence and trust that you are going to do the work, or that you've been doing the work to position yourself to succeed in any climate. And so as we're going through this process, I really want to make sure that you're giving yourself credit and understanding that you're more than capable. You really do have everything it takes to win, regardless of what life throws at you. And as we go through this process, again, we're doubling down on gratitude. What are we grateful for, right? What do we have right now? Do we have our health? Do we have a loving family? Do we have a supportive spouse? Do we have access to unlimited resources through the internet? Do we have, the gift of vision? And do we have, calmness? Do we have, food on our table and security and shelter? All those things are things to be grateful for, regardless of where you're at. And I say this, and I never want you guys to think like, oh my gosh, that's easy for you to say, Kim, because you've been building your business online. And so you're probably not worried or not affected. And the reality is, yes, that's true. I spend a lot of time building my business and positioning it for a time like this. But remember, there was a time where we struggled very, very, very badly. Multiple times when we were growing our first company, we had massive losses. I mean, one decision that led to an incredible set of unfortunate events that literally made us lose 90% of our revenue overnight. Like, I know what it's like to literally have to sell my car to make rent. I know what it's like to have to do laundry in a bathtub. I know what it's like to live on beanies and weenies, rice and beans, and, ramen noodles. Like, I get it. Trust me. There's been times where our bank account has, had negative $2,000 in it. There's been crazy amounts of deals that have gone south for us, and we've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So trust me when I tell, like, my husband had a health crisis. We've had so much happen to us over the past 10 years. So I get it. Like, I was graduating high school when 2008 happened and the economy tanked. There was no opportunities, for us as we were headed into the real world. And in fact, my husband, Chris, he started our first company that grew to multiple seven figures in 36 months during the recession, right? When literally there was no money to be made, when we were at a standstill. We figured out ways to make it happen and grow and continue moving forward. So I know what it's like, regardless of where you're at, whether you're lost your key, most important client, or maybe you're experiencing some growth because you positioned yourself to be a player during a time like this. I get it. I understand. Trust me when I tell you I've been through it, and that's why I can talk about it now. Don't think that I just had this like amazing, foresight, and I just decided that I was going to create this online business and I would be positioned forever. No, this came out of tons of struggle, right? This came as a result of doing a lot of things that didn't work, of failing epically, of, not knowing the direction that I was going to take. So I get it. I understand. There is no situation or circumstance that you can't overcome, that you can't pull yourself out of. There's hope and there's always a way. And that's what this is about. It's really understanding that we can leverage whatever situation we're at, that we need to accept it and we need to move forward. So here are the 3 questions that I need you to ask yourself as you're creating your own crisis plan. Number 1, where is the opportunity? As entrepreneurs, we're innovators, we're creators. This is where we thrive. We thrive, right, off of solving problems. And this is a giant problem. This has tons of obstacles potentially for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially if you are, in the transportation industry, or you are potentially, in the restaurant business, or you're in hospitality. All of those industries are getting hit really hard right now, but there's always an opportunity. So where is the opportunity today? And how can I win in this current climate? Where's the opportunity today? And how can I win in this current climate? Number 2, what's already working, right? What's already working in my business right now? And how can I double down on profit generating strategies? So if there's an area in your company that's been doing well and it's continuing to do well, awesome. Leverage that. There might be other areas in your company where you're taking a hit. Maybe you were planning an event and you had to cancel that. Or maybe some of your clients, are experiencing a lot of disruption during this time period, and you need to put that on pause. You need to put it on hold. But what is another area that you could reallocate, some of those resources that you can double down on that is doing really well? So I'll give you a quick example. A lot of times during this period, lots of local businesses, right, they're completely unable to operate. And so if they've been smart and they've been positioning themselves for this point in time, now they're leveraging their online services or their online products, and they're taking that aspect of the business, doubling down while things calm down, while, we kind of get back into our normal routine once this whole crisis is over. And so they're just looking at ways to change these things. Another thing you can think about is, okay, if there isn't something that's currently working, if everything I have right now is at a standstill, boom, that is a massive opportunity for you to reassess where you're at and where you're going, right? Think about, okay, if I can't operate during Q2, then I need to plan and use this time to really double down on what am I going to do Q3, Q4? How do I plan to win and triple my revenue, right, during those 2 quarters so that I can recoup whatever's going on right now? And so don't get it twisted. There's always an opportunity and a chance to look at what has worked and opportunities for growth. And so I really want you to take some time right now and write down some of the ideas that you might have. I'm about to give you some dope examples of different companies that have done really cool things to position themselves. But for now, I want you to think for yourself and use your vision. I'm going to pause the video. We're going to have a little music. You're going to fill out these 2 questions, and then we're going to come back for question number 3. All right, good job. Now let's talk about question number 3. What skills do I need to leverage? So in these times, I really want you to have some self-awareness. What are you really good at that you could deploy in these difficult times? I'll give you an example. So for me, I'm really good at conversion optimization. I'm really good at turning existing traffic, existing customers into repeat customers, into, higher conversions, into more leads, into more sales. I know how to double down and leverage what I have in terms of assets and turn that into profit. It's why we preach, right? Profitability over popularity. It's why we have a small social media audience, but a huge company. And so it's one of those things where I really want you to double down on your special skill set. Like, what's your superpower? What's that one thing that is your secret sauce that you know how to do really well? Maybe it's you're amazing at selling and communicating, right? Your value. Maybe you're just an amazing nurturer. And this is a time where you can double down on taking care of your community, of adding value to your people, taking care of them in a personal way. Maybe you're a visionary and you're really good at seeing the opportunity that most people miss. That is an amazing skill that you need to double down on. Or maybe perhaps, you're just an amazing manager. You understand how to take care of a team, make them feel empowered, and extract the best out of your people so that they can shine in their respective position, and in turn, help your company move forward through this difficult time. So whatever that is for you, I want you to double down on that skill and figure out, okay, are there any resources that I need to reallocate in my company? Where are we spending the majority of our time? Where are we spending the majority of our resources, whether that's money, energy, or time spent? What is it in our company that's generating the most? Where are we actually being very profitable? Where are we moving forward? Where do we have momentum? And how can we double down and maybe reallocate resources that we are spending elsewhere that could really serve us? So for example, I'll tell you this, when we look at the practical application to, let's say, a marketing strategy, if you're spending a ton of money on Facebook ads and you're seeing a lot of growth there, but then maybe you're also spending some money on, let's say, Twitter, and it's not doing so great right now, pull your budget and start, doubling down on what's working. Start thinking strategically. For us, we have always seen the most growth in our company from SEO. So YouTube has been incredible for us during these times. Pinterest is something we're doubling down like crazy right now. And our blog, so the current traffic that we have. So we're doubling down there, and we're pulling some of the resources from other platforms that are great, but are not necessarily generating the most amount of revenue for us. So we love Instagram. It's an amazing nurture strategy, but it's not our main driver, right? So we're going to be spending more of our time and our energy in places that are going to move the needle in our company. And so sitting down and thinking about, okay, what is my skill set? What is my area of genius? And how can I take that skill set, leverage it, and reallocate resources accordingly is extremely important in a time of crisis. You need to be hyper strategic with your process and your thinking. I want you to reassess the way that you see your company and train your mind to operate at a higher level, right? We need to step it up as entrepreneurs. We need to think, if you are a 6-figure earner, you need to start thinking like a 7-figure earner. If you're a 7-figure earner, you need to be thinking like an 8-figure earner. So really understanding, right, that this is a time to level up and think like an investor, think like a millionaire and billionaire. So key, so important. So let's shift gears here and talk about a couple examples of these amazing companies that have really position themselves for growth during this time. And these are all companies that at some point or another I've purchased products from, encountered, heard of, followed, really appreciated. And I'm going to show you that right now. All right, so here's example number 1. This is James Coffee Co. And they operate in Canada, and they also have a shop in San Diego. And I absolutely love some of the really cool things they're doing here. So for starters, they partnered with Peter McKinnon, who has over 4 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, partnered together to create some awesome swag, as well as a custom blend of coffee, which is really cool. And you can see all of these are for purchase, on their website, even though they probably are not able to operate, at least not to the full extent that they usually are right now. I'm sure that their business is driving, a lot of traffic, and they're still making money. They're still able to leverage these resources for growth. So they're leveraging their partnership with a massive influencer on YouTube, and I'm sure that's going well for them. Now you'll see here, they sell apparel, accessories, mugs, different collections, which is so cool for, a coffee company. They sell gear, which is intense, like physical products, which is so smart and makes total sense when you're running a local company. And so I hope that you're seeing that as a local business, you can still leverage online marketing, you can still leverage an online presence and have a massive revenue stream that can come outside of your local geographical area. I truly believe that in 2020, every local company needs to have at least one revenue source that's coming from the internet, right? There's so many things that you could leverage, from physical products to services to courses to training, workshops, gear, so many cool things. Now we move along and we see, okay, not only do they have their own, products, physical products to make coffee, they sell their own blends of coffee. Now they actually have classes too. And how cool would it be if these classes, even though it seems like these happen, at their actual locations, what if they took these classes online and packaged them into a workshop that they offer during this time? And it's a really cool way of keeping people engaged. A lot of people are at home right now and they might be wanting to learn something new. Actually, I know they want to learn something new. They're looking for entertainment and they're looking for, something new and productive to do. So why not learn how to brew coffee in a new way? Awesome positioning and a great leveraging point. But that's not all. There's also a coffee subscription, y'all. How bold is this, and how freaking rad is it that Jane's Coffee Co. doesn't just serve coffee in their local shop, they also freaking mail it to you based on, whatever kind of blend you prefer. So you select the blend that you like, and then you go here and you decide what size and how often you want it delivered. So yes, I know right now, there's definitely a slowdown in delivery because all of these amazing logistics companies are totally backed up. I know Amazon, definitely came in and said, hey, we're going to prioritize restocking essentials. We're going to be behind on our orders because we're just experiencing insane amounts of orders right now, but we're going to get your stuff to you. And so people are patient. They understand, maybe your products won't get there as quickly as usual. It's still an amazing opportunity to leverage right now. And Jane's Coffee Co. is totally positioned for a crisis. They're positioned for growth in a time like this. So something to think about. Now let's take a look at Red Dress Boutique. Okay, so this company actually started in Athens, Georgia, where Chris and I started our first companies too. And at first it was just a local boutique selling really cute items of clothing. And what's crazy is they've now grown, to at last I heard 2018, they were a $15 million a year company. Okay. Little boutique, started from scratch in Little Athens, Georgia, population 127,000, 15 million in revenue in 2018. That is wild. Okay. And they're 100% doing so through the internet, guys. These customers are not coming from their local reach or their local presence. Of course, that's important. And they still have, their warehouse and their shop in Athens, but they're leveraging a global, economy. They're leveraging global reach, and they're positioned for growth in a time like this because what are people doing right now? They're shopping online. They're buying things via the internet because they can't really go to a store. So why not do that? Next up is Rebecca Robeson from Robeson Design. And if you have never checked out her amazing channel on YouTube, highly recommend that you do. But this woman is a legend. She started her YouTube channel during the last crash in 2008 when, she had absolutely no clients because no one was spending on interior design. So she started making videos and now has over 1 million subscribers. She's incredible, servicing clients all over the world. She has incredible design projects that she does high-end reveals for on her YouTube channel, but she also is leveraging her know-how into these design sessions, which I have probably been a part of for 2 years, and I love them. So she has this online membership where she charges you $10 a month, and you get a full hour of design, know-how from her every month. So she has a live masterclass and shows you what this month's session is. She shows you how to develop your design skills and learn how to make your home beautiful. And for $10 a month, it's incredible. She has thousands and thousands of members in her community, and it's just an additional revenue source for her and her team. I'm sure that in times like this, when probably most of their projects are halted, they're totally leveraging their online classes to deliver a service via the internet, and they're making bank doing it. They're also sharing their line of physical products, which I'm sure they're pushing right now. So again, another great example of a service provider who's taken the time to invest in her online presence, sharing tons of value through her YouTube channel, and then leveraging her positioning and her revenue sources and positioning herself for an awesome opportunity like this. And so I hope by now you're seeing and you're getting a lot of ideas of what you could potentially be doing as a brand to position yourself as an industry leader, to look at how other brands are leveraging the internet, regardless of whether or not you're a local shop or you're a course creator or you're a service or freelancer. There's so many ways that you could package your skill set, that you could create products, that you could really just extend your reach through the internet. There's no need to panic and freak out. It's all about pivoting and positioning yourself. All right, so we looked at examples from physical stores, we looked at service providers, we looked at examples of how you could be totally leveraging the internet. But what if you're a course creator, or maybe you don't have, a business yet? What do you do? What are some of the things that you could do to leverage this time? So that's what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about examples of how to do that. And one of my students, and one of our students here in the Business Lounge, runs this amazing site and membership called Score Club. So his name is Alan, and Alan is a rad composer, y'all. I'm talking, he's had clients like Disney hire him to create incredible soundtracks that are just so moving. In fact, I'm going to link his website. Highly encourage you to check it out and listen to one of his audio clips. It's literally right here. It's so moving. So this is Alan. He's an incredible composer, and he's packaged his skill set and know-how while keeping, his business, his full-time gig, which is composing, writing, directing music for these amazing films, for these huge companies and clients. And he's packaged that information into a membership site. So he has this cool Score Club where he releases new courses. He has a bunch of different ones to teach other composers how to level up their skill set, right? Alan is not, a marketing maven, but he's done the work. He's rolled up his sleeves. He's incredible at what he does. He's such a talented human, and he's leveraged, understanding marketing strategies to really grow his company. And now when he's, busy doing all of, his composing, and he's working on big projects, he still has an awesome income stream that's coming in. He just started Score Club last year, and he already has 100+ members in that community. He's making really good money teaching people how to do what he does. And it's just an amazing opportunity. So if you're a teacher, if you are, an engineer, if you're an architect, there's so much potential for you to grow. We've seen how Rebecca did that, and now we've seen how Alan has done that. You could do that too. There's no reason for you not to leverage this amazing opportunity that the internet provides you. And so if you're right now, trying to figure out, okay, how do I move forward? What is my first step? I want you to take a pause and know that we got you, okay? This isn't a pitch or anything, but we have so many free resources over on our blog. I'm gonna link our Start Here page on our website, and you're gonna see there's 3 different badges, 3 different doors you can walk through on our website. Whether you wanna learn social media marketing, whether you wanna learn online business, or you wanna learn branding, there's so many resources in that Start Here page where you can leverage all of that. There's over 100 videos on our library on YouTube. There's infinite amount of blogs. Well, they're not infinite, but there's over 200 blogs on our website that you could read through. And I'm actually going to link a entire series of how to get your first client. Like, what is the first step that you take in order to set yourself up for success and get this done, right? Actually move forward. Implement all the ideas that we're talking about right now. Now, as a course creator, if you're trying to figure out, okay, like, how do I win in this market? Like, what do I do? I'm selling courses. You're positioned for growth right now, my friend. Like, we are seeing an onslaught of new students in our community that are trying to learn how to position themselves, right, in this market. And it's understandable. It's amazing. I get it. They're like, okay, this is the push I needed to really move my business forward and online. And so they're joining our courses. And I think that this is an amazing time for you as a course creator. So one of the strategies that I would deploy as a course creator right now is Facebook ads. Like, they're so hot right now because so many advertisers are pulling out of Facebook because they're freaking out. They're scared. And get this, scared money don't make money. We've all heard that phrase, and it's so true. This is the time to double down. Like, I'm increasing my ad spend. I'm diversifying my ad spend. I haven't stopped investing in my business. And it's awesome because we have an increase of inventory, meaning we have an increase of eyeballs in the newsfeed right now because everyone's checking Facebook frantically, which means there's more space in the newsfeed. And at the same time, there's less competition because advertisers are pulling out. They're saying, oh, I don't know what's going to happen and I don't want to spend my money, which is crazy. So this is a great opportunity for you to start growing. In fact, I was just talking to Alan, and he was running a couple of ad campaigns that are getting great feedback, and he's growing his membership. He's seeing more students come in precisely because they're spending more time online. This is a great opportunity to get to, joining that membership they've been meaning to join, or buy that course they've been meaning to take. Amazing place to leverage your skill set right now. So I would be doubling down on Facebook ads. I would be looking at your conversion optimization. I would be looking at how you can really support your community and not just come at it from a perspective of like, get, right? We want to be here for our people. We want to take care of them. So think of ways you can be extra generous with your community. Think of ways that you can add so much value and showcase your know-how and give before you ask anything in return of them. Really support them and start leveraging that for momentum and growth. Now, what if you've been laid off and you need a side hustle right now? Things are slow, you might really just need to figure out how to make quick cash. Here are a couple ideas. Number one, you can start thinking of maybe starting your own little business on eBay. So you can start selling things you already have in your home on eBay, or you can start an Etsy shop. Maybe you sell crafts, or you sell some leather goods, or you sell some of your digital art. There's so many opportunities there that you should totally research, double down on, and check out. Another thing you could do is apply for VA positions. There's still companies that are hiring, and if you're willing to, do some VA work, maybe on a part-time basis or a temporary basis, that could be a great gig. Another thing is DoorDash. There's still people working, and people need food. There's people delivering food left and right. And that might be a great way to just make some side income while things are at a standstill. You can also, get a transcription job. And I know there's companies that, pay $18 to $20 per hour for transcription. So I'll leave a couple links in the blog that we're putting together for you guys on that as well. You can also take this time to start a YouTube channel, double down on affiliate marketing, maybe, teach an online course, get things started, get things moving, maybe even sell your course. There's so many different course sites that you could be leveraging right now. And these are just a couple of ideas. If you type in side hustles on Google, there's a billion things that are going to come up. So there's opportunity. There's a chance for you to make money and leverage this situation. don't worry. And the inevitable question I will get from artists and content creators is, okay, what do we do, right? If you're an artist, you might have this negative thought pattern that's like, oh, well, people are not going to buy art right now. Like, I need to just think about something else because they're just not going to put their money in it. And that might be true, but the reality is this is when we need you the most. Art brings so much joy to people. It makes people feel encouraged and connected. And why don't you use this time to put together a really awesome piece that maybe showcases the hope behind, all this crisis, and maybe showcases humans coming together and is a really amazing talking point. This is how tons of artists, showcase their work in times of difficulty and crisis and struggle. We depend on people like you to really remind us of what we're made of, to give us hope and give us encouragement. And those are extremely valuable skills and extremely valuable assets. So think about how you can package a piece of work that showcases the current climate and use it on social media. It might be one of those things that just goes viral and helps you grow your brand. So get exposure. There's so much you can do right now. Don't put yourself in a box. There is no box, literally. Our box is literally our own limitations. So I want to make sure that you're thinking outside the box and reaching, those people with your message that need you the most right now. And of course, if you're a creator, maybe you have a YouTube channel and that's how you monetize. Maybe you are an Instagram influencer. You're doubling down on content right now, right? You're creating content. You are creating more brand deals. You are doubling down on affiliate marketing. This is the time to double down on what's working in your business and make it happen. All right. And last but not least, once we have our crisis plan, we've brainstormed ideas as to how we're going to pivot and move forward. Now we got to share that plan with our family, with our friends, with our business team, with our squad. It's important that you keep the people in your life updated on what's going on because they're probably going to want to support you and help you through this time, right? Whether it's challenging or it's a time of growth, we want to be able to band together with the people that we love the most and who can support us. Maybe that means, telling your spouse what your plans are about so that maybe he can play with the kids while you get, going on your online workshop. Or maybe it means asking your mom to come over and, watch the kiddos while you film a couple videos. It just really want you to leverage people's support in this time because you're going to need it. You're going to need all the support that you could possibly get. If you have a team, guys, this is the time to really double down and support them. You need to encourage them. You need to lead, right? And be a model for what you expect during this time. And so Chris and I had meetings with our team yesterday until like 11 o'clock at night. We were talking about all the challenges that we're facing, how we're going to band together and work through them, how we're going to support them through this time. Reassure your people that you have their back. Share with them your vision. Share how they can step into their roles and lead and really help position your company so you can reach your ultimate goal faster. And with that, guys, we're wrapping up part 1 of this workshop. I want you to stay positive. You got this. Remember, you have everything it takes to thrive in any circumstance. I'm counting on you to lead. It is up to us entrepreneurs to keep the world moving forward, to look at opportunity when people see chaos, and to really serve and take care of our communities while we're going through crisis, as a whole, as humanity. I'm really proud of you if you're here because you're 10,000 steps ahead of everyone else. The fact that you're here and you've decided to level up, to double down, to roll up your sleeves and do the work speaks volumes about the kind of entrepreneur, human that you are and the kind of leader you're becoming. So I just want to say thank you for being here. I love you. Let me know what questions you have in the comments section below. We'd love to address those. And until next time, I want you to stay positive, stay calm, and stay profitable. I'll see you in part 2 of this workshop where we'll talk about content strategy, how to implement your plan, and so much more. Bye for now. All right, here we go. Let me get my let me get my studio voice on. Studio voice on. All right. Bada bing, bada boom.